is Auntie. Let me see if I can fix this light some, y'all. And I am here. This is just horrible. We'll get it together, y'all. Hold on. Whatever. Hi, everybody, and this is Auntie, and I am here to do my review on 90 Day Fiance The Other Way, Season 2, Episode 20, Not on My Watch. If this is your first time being here, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And to all of my new subscribers, thank you all so much for joining the family. To all of my nieces and nephews who have been here with me for the long haul, thank you all so much for your continued support. If I was to rate this episode of 90 Day Fiance, I would rate it a D. I just felt jerked around. I it was like a hodgepodge of 5 minutes or 2 minutes of everything. And I just, it just, you know, I'm always going to try to come out here and make the best out of everything, but I just completely did not like this episode. So let's get into it without further ado, y'all, okay? So the first couple that I want to talk about is Kenneth and Armando. As we all know, the two of them were denied the opportunity to be married in Mexico. And so this is them, going back to get the official denial letter. They have baby Hannah in the car, and Kenneth decides that this is something that she needs to know. And so he told Armando to tell her. And so, of course, she said, he said, they have denied us the right to get married. And so she was like, no. Okay, so they get there and the young lady is sitting there at the desk again, and they ask her, for the paperwork. And so of course she gives them the official paperwork, and Kenneth is wondering what were the merits for them denying the marriage, the same-sex marriage for the two of them. And they indicated in the paperwork that because they wanted to save the ability to procreate. And, basically they wanted, they felt like, or, Meiko felt like, or feels like that if they have same-sex couples, that they will lose the ability to procreate and have children. And so Kenneth is astonished by that. He is like in complete and total shock. He said that they moved to this particular city in Mexico so that they would have a better possibility of being together and being able to marry, but still and yet they said no. This is the first part or the first phase of that. They're going to have to go to a another agency who is going to help petition the courts and petition the Mexico for them to be able to get married. And so that was, that was a little sad and everything. And but it just is what it is, unfortunately, for a lot of people. And so I'm hoping that things work out the way that they would like for things to work out. Okay, so yeah, that was their storyline. The next story, or the next couple that we're going to talk about, is Tim and Melanise. Tim, is really, his mother is about to leave and go back home. And so Tim wanted to have some time where he can just talk everything out with his mother. And so, the mother has been trying to be supportive of the relationship despite everything. Her and Melanise have tried to mend the relationship that they have with one another. And so, this is their last hurrah. He is not going to see his mother for a while, and he's conflicted about, what he really wants to do, right? So he and his mother go out and they have coffee at a coffee shop, and he begins to tell his mother about the relationship between the two of them and the fact that she had told him that she had had a relationship with someone else while the two of them were broken up. Okay, so now Tim is saying that they were broken up. So I'm like, which one is it? Did he know that they were broken up, or did he not know they were broken up? Like, I'm a little bit confused about that. But anyway, I'm gonna move. Woo! I'm gonna move on. Sorry, y'all. Okay, it's live. All right, it's live. And so anyway, he was, conflicted about that. And so he began to talk to his mother about his insecurities, about the relationship with her, and, really wish, I don't know what I got on my face, or really where, she's going to be going with all of this. And his mother asked him flat out, is this something, Tim, that you want to do? Is this a relationship that you think is, a viable and everything? And he's like, yeah, but financially, I'm not really, sure about that, and I have a fear of going back to the States and it being stable, because if I go back, then the relationship may not be, she may not stay in the relationship. She may have another another relationship with another man. Like, everything is up in the air, and he begins to cry because he's fearful about, what is going to happen in the relationship. And she's just like, his mother was like, I will help you through this. If you make a decision that this is not a relationship that you want to be in, I will support you in that. And if and I'll be there to pick up the pieces, and I'll help you go through this. But if you decide you want to stay in this relationship with Melanise, then you know what? By all means, fight for your relationship. And so the two of them make a decision that because of all of the things that they have been going through, that they're going to go to see a therapist and have a conversation about it. And in the therapy session, Melanise finds out that basically he wants to leave because he wants to, maintain his place of his job, and he's not going to be able to stay in Brazil. The way that she's flippity floppity, like he said, her family don't really want the relationship. For them, they said if it was up to them, they would not have the two of them to be together. So, it's a lot of toying up and down in that relationship, and I'm just really tired of their storyline. I mean, I just got to be honest about it. I'm so tired of their cotton freaking storyline. Like, frankly, I'm tired of all of their storylines. Like, this episode straight up earned its D with me. Okay? It absolutely earned its D with me. I don't know what you all think about it. Put it down in the comments section. But I just was like, this is just too drawn out. It's too long. Whatever. And so now we got the Jihoon and Deavan, who we already know have broken up. She's moved on with another man, and is basically out there on Instagram trying to indicate to people that she is not pregnant. Again. I guess there must be some rumors going around saying that she's pregnant. Like, who gives us... Like, who really cares whether or not this girl is pregnant? It's, in my opinion, if she stays with him long enough, she gonna have another baby. So now her parents are flying to South Korea, because they're going to have a formal wedding. The two of them are already married. And so she says that she wants her mother's approval of this marriage. They're already married. So what approval is it that she is looking for from her mother? This is some food la la. Jihoon has stepped up to the plate. His mama and his daddy done stepped up to the plate. Hell, the mama came and got her and took her to the museum. They had fun. They were squatting over invisible pots and doing all kinds of stuff. So I don't understand. So of course her parents and everybody, they come, and he says, when he saw the mother, he was shaken up to the point where he thought that he was going to wee on himself. And I'm just like, oh, okay, like this is just, God, can we please move on from this couple? Let's move on from this couple. That's Yeah, let's move on. So the next couple that I want to talk about is Brittany and Yazan. As we all remember last week, Brittany and her girlfriend went into a bar and grill, okay, if you if you will, and she was drunk, and so of course she got drunk balls, she ready to go ham and everything, and do what she do. And so of course she drunk text him, and he answers the phone and all that kind of stuff. And so now he's picking her up, and so when he picks her up, it's apparent to him that she is drunk. They've already been having a lot of issues. So, Yazan was like, I don't want to rock the boat with her. I just, I'm going to treat her like a baby. I'm not going to say anything about what I'm observing here. I'm just going to make it do what it do. So they make a decision to go by his barbershop because he wanted to show Brittany that he has a job. Now, he picked them up in the car. The girlfriend got a chance to meet him, and she just was like, he cool in the gang. Like, he wasn't excited. He wasn't stressed out. He wasn't off the hook because, oh, good me, that yawn been wanting to come for a long time. And so, she's the girlfriend who is so very level headed. And, sometimes when you off the hook, or you got a girlfriend that's off the hook, you need to have somebody who has a level head. And it looks like this girl has a very level head. She was determined that she was going to meet Yazan. She was like, I'm not going to come all the way over here to Jordan and not meet this man. So she really helped Brittany to process through that she really still had feelings for him. And when she got in the car, he kept looking at her, and the girlfriend and Brittany was like, keep your mofo eyes on the road. So they get to the barber shop, and it's one barber chair, and he is, starting his business. Okay, of course, we all know he had been fired. The father fired him, and he also lost his home. He lost the roof that was over his head, and so he went on and everything to the barber shop, and Brittany tells him she's going to cut his hair, and if he loves her, he will allow her to cut his hair. And so, he's sitting in the chair and everything, and they're playing around, and he gets up, she gets a pair of scissors, and she cuts his hair on accident anyway. I just was like, this girl is just, Brittany is out of control. And so they sit down and have a conversation, and she tells him that, she cares about him and all of that, but she really, wants to know what the timeline is. She would like to be able to wait in order to marry him. And he said, for how long? And she told him a year. She wanted him to give her at least a year for them to continue to get to know each other. And so he agreed to it. He also agreed to the fact that, wait a minute, I ain't gonna put the carpet for the horse. So they went to he took them back to the hotel and everything. And then the next day, Brittany went over to his place to observe his place. And so there, she went into his apartment. He was scurrying around and showing, trying to clean up so that he could impress the girl when she got there. And so Brittany, of course, got there to the apartment, and she walked around. She thought it was a nice apartment, except for the fact that the bathroom floor was wet from the shower and when he washes his clothes. So he said that he needed to get somebody in there to fix that. But he did ask Brittany if Brittany would stay with him. And Brittany said, no, right now I need you to drop me back off at the hotel. And when you get your stuff together, golly, when you get your stuff together, excuse me, y'all, when you get your stuff together and you fix that shower and that bathroom floor and wet like that, I will consider that. Now, Yazan also told Brittany that She did not have to convert to Muslim to being a Muslim, okay, or Islam. She did not have to convert. I want to make sure I say the right thing, okay. I don't want to offend anybody, but he told her, I know yesterday I told you that I could wait a year, but I can't wait a year. I want to be married. She said, how long do you want to wait? Or how long do you want me to, how much time are you giving me to be married or to be ready for this? And Yazan said 30 days. So, of course, Brittany acted like she was not fazed by it because she said that she was glad that he was being honest about what it is that he wanted from her. Then she asked him, do you still expect me to convert? He said, no. There is nothing in the Quran that indicates that I cannot marry a Christian. So that's not going to be a big deal. But then he started telling her that the way that the relationship was going is dangerous. I think that what he was trying to tell her was the danger that he is in, because all the time that they have been talking while Brittany was in America, and since they've been back, they have not had an opportunity to talk about the things that went down with his daddy, okay? None of that stuff she knows about. Brittany has been trying to push him to be independent and live away from his mother. She's trying to make him do it the American way without even thinking about the things that he is wanting from her that she hasn't changed. You know, here in America, and I may be wrong, correct me in the comment section, but here in America, traditionally, we leave our parents' house when we, go to college. We leave our parents' house when we turn 18. 19, 20, 21, we're ready to get out of the house. But in other religions and in other countries, kids stay with their parents until they're married. It doesn't make a difference whether or not they 32, 34. They live together in that house with an understanding that once you get a spouse or something, then you can roll on up out of there. So she's not realizing that people in other countries do things differently. So traditionally for him and his family, they stay at home. He's at home with his mama, and there's nothing wrong with it. For us, we expect you to be independent, have your own car, have your own place, have this and that. And then we place a value on whether or not you have these things. Now, if you old and sexy like myself, then yeah, you expect the man that you're going to be dating to, have his own stuff and established, because we all should be the same age, right? But Brittany is wanting him to do things her way, but she's not willing to do things his way. And I think that, she is very inconsiderate, very selfish, in my opinion. I think that she, really doesn't understand the culture at all. She absolutely doesn't understand, nor, in my opinion, do I believe that she really respects the religion that this man is in. Thank you so much for the super chat. Let me put my glasses on. Thank you so much, Bella, for the $3 super chat. Hey, Auntie, looking forward to laughing with you. Thank you, boo. This episode wasn't really funny, though. Okay. But thank you, boo, for the super chat. So, I'm just, Brittany is divorced now, so she is free to do whatever it is that she wants to do. I really believe that since Brittany is free and not divorced, she don't have to play the game anymore. So why she is not being completely honest with him, I don't know. Maybe she has convinced herself that this is a viable relationship, but it absolutely is not a viable relationship between the two of them. I just was like, I'm feeling some kind of way about all of these couples, and I just wish they would just, hurry up and go the hell away. Anyway, the last couple that I want to talk about is Ari and Biniyam. Okay, so of course we know that the parents are still there. The father is a practicing doctor here in the States, and he indicated that he doesn't get a lot of time to travel. So being in Ethiopia is absolutely a culture shock for him. They decide that they're going to go out and they're going to travel around Ethiopia, and Biniyam is going to show him all of the spots, right? And so they get in the cab, and they start seeing, Ethiopia the way that it is. And the father was asking about some homes that had some wires and stuff like that around, and why he could not understand, that he didn't believe. Thank you, Linda Hernandez, for the 4.99 super chat. Auntie, you are the only reason I'm still wasting electricity on these ridiculous couples. Oh, I'm sorry, sweetie. But yeah. We hanging on though, ain't we? We hanging on. Yeah, we hanging on. So anyway, he thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you, boo. So, they're riding around and the father is shocked, and so they get out and they're basically in the marketplace. They walk past a chicken pen, and in the chicken pen is guys selling live chickens, where they, do what they do with the whoop whoop and the whoop whoop whoop. And so he tells them, we can get this chicken, buy it now, and then after we buy it, they're going to do what they do in the whoop, 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 and when we come back, they'll have it all bagged up for us to go and kill. And so the mother was like, I ain't trying to see that. And so Ari gets to hollering and screaming, no, not right now, no, never, don't, no, we don't want to get it. And so the mother was like, let's do something different, Biniyam. This is not, what I want to do. The thing about it is that this girl goes from a 0 to 1,000 in a matter of 60 seconds, okay? She doesn't have any middle ground, and she really doesn't know how to talk to Biniyam the way that a woman should talk to a man. I don't care whether or not you have cultural differences or not. Okay? You should not be talking to this man with all this cotton freaking masculine energy and then think that this man is going to continue to stay attracted to you. This girl is so bossy, controlling, selfish, arrogant, pompous, just inconsiderate, I can't, and these are my opinions of her based on what I have seen on television. Now, she may not be all of that. Like, she may not be all that, but from what they are showing us, this is the kind of individual that she appears to be, to me, in my opinion, okay? Write it in the comments section and let me know whether I'm right, wrong, or indifferent, because I'm just trying to tell you I'm not feeling the chick at all. Thank you so much, MICJNKE, for the 4.99 super chat. Love you. Hey, Auntie, love your reviews. Thank you so much, sweetie. It's getting hard to review this stuff. But thank you so much. I appreciate the super chat from you. Thank you. So, they decide to walk in. So Biniyam says that he really wanted to show them the culture. He wanted to show them Ethiopia. He wanted to show off and just kind of show them where the hot spots was. And he feels embarrassed by the way that his good intentions were rejected. Like he really felt, rejected and all of that kind of stuff. And so, they told him that he can't touch the baby because he did touch that chicken because he dropped it and was running behind the damn thing. And so, they were like, okay, Biniyam, okay, you ain't gonna be able to touch this baby. And so we see Biniyam, like the air really suck out of him. He was walking down the street and he was holding on to the stroller. And I really did feel bad for him because you can tell that it really did do something to his ego as a man. Even when before they went out, this man is in the mirror and he's doing his hair. And she says, what are you doing, Biniyam? And he said, I'm doing my hair. She said, can you come here? The only thing she wanted him to do was hold that baby. That girl feels like everything is supposed to be equal, but if it's supposed to be equal, then you can't be controlling. And she just really wants him up underneath her 100%. All the time, all day, all night. She can't understand why the man even got a job. It was just unbelievable. The father and the mother are very uncomfortable because they see some things that are going on. They understand that the two of them are not getting along well, even though Ari wants to make it like they are. And then she promises Biniyam that she's not going to tell the parents the problems that they're having in the relationship. But that's the first thing she starts doing is criticizing his job and how much time he spends at home with her. But then when the parents were asking him about how much money he made and does he get paid daily, how does he get paid? Because they went and looked at the apartment, right? Let me slow down. The parents went to go and look at the apartment where they were living at. Biniyam said for him, this is an upgrade. He's never lived this well. He said, it's a bigger place for him. It probably got air conditioning up in the mofo. For him, he's living in the lap of luxury. He comes from, he doesn't come from wealth. And she comes from wealth. Okay, at least wealth as we know it, okay? Upper middle class family, they probably are because he's a doctor and her mom's a RN. So they making pretty good money. They probably ain't the 1%. Well, I don't know. Because he a doctor, it depends on what kind of doctor he is. He may be making a little cheese, you know what I mean? But let me just put him in the upper middle class category, right? Biniyam he's not ashamed of the apartment. But she is, because she lives differently. So when the parents came in, they were like it was too damn small. It was, it's enough for the two of them, but not with a growing baby. And we all know that when you have a child, you have to expand your territories, if you will. And so, they come in and the mother was like, you need to be living better than this. The grandfather had mentioned when they were at the market, where's his grandson going to play at? Does he play in the street or does he play in the dirt? And so, the things that we here in America take advantage of, like parks and rec centers and neighborhood community park, like around here where I live, it's parks all over the place. I mean, dog park, bougie dog park, the ghetto dog park. I mean, just parks for the kids, soccer fields. It's all kinds of stuff. And we take those things here for granted. We have all of that stuff. It's right at our fingertip. We ain't even got to get in a car to get to that stuff. We can just go walk out and it's prepared in our neighborhood. So for the father, I did understand where he was coming from when he was like, where is he going to play at? Because if you've been in America and you're accustomed to living like that, then you are going to ask a question like that, unfortunately. You really are. You're going to be thinking where the hell they going to live. So, I mean, where they going to play. So anyway, the mother says, I know you don't want to be dependent on us for the rest of your life. And we don't want you to be either, but we want to be able to financially help you. So they go to ask Biniyam, Biniyam, how much do you make? Do you get paid? He said, yeah, I get paid like $500, $400. That's nothing. Like, that is nothing. So it looks like the family is going to be supporting this. She said, it was one way when she was visiting, and now that she a resident, she done got woke up. Anyway, the family is leaving, the mother and father are leaving, and they decide to meet with the sisters. What did they do that for? So they sit at the table and everybody's happy. They all have a drink and they do a cheers to Avi. And then the mother starts with the question. She asks the sisters whether or not they thought that this relationship between Biniyam and Ari were they getting along. And the sister flat out bust her ass out and was like, they ain't getting along. She yells out in the middle of the street. She has a temper and she yells out. The other sister told her she needed to calm down. Like, they straight put her on blast and talked about how rude she was. Biniyam even jumped in and said she wants to control me. They said that she treats him like a baby. Go to work. Don't go to work. Come home. Get over here. Get here. Talking to him as if he's a child. And so they have observed this stuff. But when the sister said that she gets out in the street and she yells and people look around and be like, okay, wait a minute, who is this white woman yelling at this man over here? And I'm sure that women and both men are looking at it because it's not acceptable in a culture for people to publicly display this kind of behavior. But again, she's American, she's entitled, and she don't know no damn better because we will pop off and we will pop off with whomever and wherever we are if we get mad enough. And so, she said that she had all this stress on her and all this some kind of stuff. So the mother was like, well, look, let me go ahead on and change the subject. Okay? And the mother goes to a worse subject. She talks about the baptism and asks Ari, when you're going to baptize, have you made a decision? Have y'all talked about this? So the youngest sister goes in to say, when the baby got baptized, and she was like, wait a minute, hold up, I didn't tell them that. I haven't told them that. So she was like, okay. So she was like, well, Benny said that he wanted the baby baptized. And so I just took it out of my mind. And I just was like, you know what? It's just a little bit of sprinkle of water. And, it is what it is. And so I just went on and let him do it. And so the mother was like, but do you understand that the baby is now baptized into that religion? The mother gave a story about the promises in the different religions that her and her husband were in, and how they decided that they would raise her up, in a Jewish religion. And she didn't even think about it. And so she, of course, now that her father said, you know what, I'm shocked. He said, it takes a lot to shock me, and I'm very rarely shocked about anything. He said, but I am shocked about this. And he said, this is not going down the right path. So instead of Ari having a conversation, or Ariela having a conversation with her father, she takes it out on the sisters and says, I don't think it was Biniyam that wanted this. I think it was y'all. And the sisters was like, you damn Skippy, it was us. You're damn right. They didn't back up off of it. They didn't backpedal. They didn't do none of that stuff. They was like, yep, we sure did. Because, they believe that, if the baby doesn't get baptized, then it's going to one of those places, okay? We won't say what it is because I think that that's wrong and ignorant of them to believe that. I think that that is just stupid, but I don't understand it. It ain't my religion, but I ain't never read nothing that say that a baby goes to fire and brimstone. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous. That baby is innocent. And a baptism ain't going to, like, I can't. But the sisters was bold, and they stood up in their up in their stuff. They was 10 toes to the ground, and they was like, look, we telling you right now, yeah, we said it, yeah, because the baby was going to get baptized. This is our culture, and the baby going to take our culture on. So, she was like, what, we're going to have to, I told you, Biniyam, that this is one thing. If you do this, that this is one thing that is definitely going to make me leave. And the sister said, you acting just like his ex-wife. And so she was like, wait a minute, hold up. That's effed up. Why would you say something like that to me? You going to let your sisters talk to me like that? The sister said, we ain't disrespect your ass. We just sit up here telling the truth. It ain't like we disrespected you. So hell yeah, we gonna sit up here and talk to you about it. Your mother put it out there. Your mother asked the question. We answering the damn question. Your father's sitting up there looking like Mr. Magoo. And he all confused and shocked and everything, shell shocked. So what the hell? We ain't backing up off of this. You too controlling. You don't know how to act. So the mother was like, well, if you got a problem with your man, what do? Y'all just let it happen? They was like, no, you can talk to the parents, okay? Or you can, do whatever else you need to do. But you don't stand up in the middle of the street and be beefing. And you can see when the sister was coming out there and blasting her, them eyebrows was going. So, she got that sass to her. And ain't nothing wrong with Ari having sass. It really isn't. But don't start pointing the blame and all of that kind of stuff when you do start falling down in the street and somebody got to come behind you and pick it up. Okay? You're not perfect. And the mother was like, well, if she popped off, I know my daughter, she had a reason to pop off. Your daughter's popping off about everything. There is nothing that your daughter is not popping off about, Mamacita. Your daughter has changed. Now, I don't know if she's going through postpartum. I have no idea what it is that this girl is going through. But I can tell you right now, from what we have seen, she has not been a very good representation of American women. And I said it in my opinion. That's how I feel. The last couple that we're going to talk about is Jenny and Sumit. Jenny and Sumit are in the middle of the pandemic. They got packages that now Sumit had told us last week that he's diabetic and that Jenny is just old as fuck, okay? So he got to protect her any old kind of way he can and protect himself. When it's time to go to the grocery store or to go out, because of their big, huge age difference, he makes sure that he goes out and he gets the stuff, right? He takes the risk and goes out. So they decide that he's going to pick up these packages that look like a concert pass, backstage pass, okay, for a Janet Jackson or a Beyonce concert. It's a string with a tag on it. And somebody that convinced him and told him that if you wear this around your neck, that this is going to stop you from being affected by the pandemic. I said people will buy. People will buy anything. How in the world is a bus pass? Uh, 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 um, Jenny puts it on anyway. Jenny is in the mirror applying makeup, but it doesn't help Jenny. It just doesn't help her. And I was like, when he said, are you ready? And she was like, almost. I said, no, you ready. Because it don't make a difference what else you put on or what else you do in that mirror. Jenny, you still going to be looking like Jenny. But I guess you're never too old to try. And so we're going to give Jenny an A for trying. So at this time, she says, well, we're going to go down to wherever it was they're supposed to be going to, and we're going to talk to a lawyer about getting married. They're supposed to be having the ring ceremony coming up in the next couple of days. And so, Jenny, they're going to go and talk to a lawyer about it. She says, well, while we're there, why don't we go and register to be married, or register to give our intent to be married? And so Sumit froze like, um, I, O, A, E, I, O, U. This man started calling off vowels. I said, you know what? Oh, okay, stomach. This man is calling off vowels. He said, well, let's talk to the lawyer. Jenny was like, what? What we gotta talk to the lawyer for? I got my thing around my neck. I'm protected. You understand what I say? I'm protected. And I ain't got all this time to be coming out here. My visa about to expire on my old ass. I ain't got time to be flying back and forth like that. I don't know whether or not I'm gonna be able to. You see me with this COVID protector around my neck, bitch? I'm ready to go down there while the protection is on this damn thing. Because if I mess around with you, the protection gonna wear off on this. This is a one-time shot. So why I got this around my neck? I am going to get married. Do you understand me? We're going to go down there and stay our intent because I got one time to wear this bitch around my neck for my safety, and I'm not going back down there. I ain't going back down there no more, no more. Do you hear me? I need to make sure everybody see me with my on and they know that I'm protected. So don't play with me. Don't play with me. You act like you don't want to go. He was like, no, I mean, I want to go ahead and state my intent to get married and everything, but we need to talk to the lawyer. We need to make sure we wrap everything up and, we got everything together and all this kind of stuff. And she was like, he was like, I want to get married to you and everything. I'm going to go ahead and do the fake ass ring ceremony. And she was like, I mean, well, you don't, I ain't like the way you came at me like that. We're going to go ahead on down here and we're going to state our intent to get married. I am the mother in this relationship. The mother. That's what she is. So they go down there and everything. They masked up and everything. And they talking to the lawyer about, filing their intent to get married, through the regular system. And he said, and I got something for you. Y'all can go down to, these little let me just say churches. Y'all can go down to these little churches and these ministers and stuff like that. They'll marry y'all. It ain't going to cost as much. You ain't got to get your parents' permission. Jenny was like, celebrate good times. Come on. Celebrate. There's a marriage going on around here. A celebration to last throughout the year. So wear your good times and your protection too. We're going to have a fun party with you. Come on now. Jenny said, bitch, we in here. We gonna be able to get married. We ain't gotta ask your parents nothing. He was like, but I still want to talk to my parents about it. She's like, the fuck for what? Why? What we need to talk to your parents for? You seem like you wimping out of this, like you don't want to be with me no more. Let me just show you my big man hands. You see my man hands? My man hands. I'm trying to tell you right now, we don't need to go to your parents about nothing. We got it out, bitch. I got my protection on. We down here. Let's be about it. Let's do it. He said, no, 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 no. Oh, hell no. Sumit was like, I want to go to my parents. I value my relationship with my parents. And I'm going to tell you right now, we're not going. So Jenny went on, and said, okay, but she thinking some kind of way because she called her daughter. And she was like, look, hey, how you doing? Yeah, let me, oh, wait a minute, no, she was Skyping him. So she was Skyping him and she was like, girl, hey, it's your favorite mother-in-law. Hey there, Jen. What's up, Christine? Hey. Hey, girl, hey. Hey, girl, hey, 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 girl, hey. Girl, let me tell you. Me and Sumit found out, honey, that we don't even have to go to the regular route. That we can go around the parents. And don't you know that he acting like he don't want to do it? Mom, for real. Yes, Mom. What? First they was partying and celebrating. Till she told her, what was going on. And she was like, Mom, is that around your neck? She said, protection from COVID. Oh. So anyway, she tells her daughter that, she doesn't believe that Sumit is really ready. So the next day we see her out there, hanging up clothes and everything in that filthy joint that they living in. And Sumit comes out and says, my brother's coming. Excuse me, y'all. And I'm going to use my brother to, convince my parents to have a conversation with me and agree to, accepting this relationship. I don't want to be kicked out of the family. I don't want them to not love me and respect me. So the brother and his wife come over, his new wife. He just recently got married. He said they wanted to be together. And, they only had 50 guys. And, they did it the right way. Mama was dead. Daddy was dead. You know what I'm saying? The other brother was dead. Everybody was there. It was just a regular way. It was her family, his friends, her friends. Just accepted it. So Jenny just like, So they was like, so Sumit was like, yeah, I need your help. Because Jenny was like, we getting engaged. We getting engaged. And they was like, when? And she was like, tomorrow. And y'all are more than welcome. Y'all are more than welcome to come. The brother and his wife was like, we ain't ready for this. We ain't ready for this level of bullshit. Like, we ain't ready for this level of bullshit. Right here, okay? The brother was like, so Sumit was like, can you help us? The brother said, and he gave him the 365 days a year. Hell no. Hell no. The brother was like, okay, them look. So Diddy was like, I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to be accepted. This knick-knack, paddywhack, give a talking phone, So, Sumit was like, I'm thinking, hoping that the parents accept him. He said, let me tell you, someday and never. They never going to accept that woman because of her age. You can kiss both mom and daddy's tail. It ain't happening, Captain. So, of course, Jenny was like, I don't mean to get emotional. I do not mean to get emotional. Because y'all know she got them big ass man hands. All I could see was hands. Just man hands. This man had big man. Okay, bitches was okay. Let me sit back, because if I sit back like this, the bitches will look like Jenny's. I'm not trying to get emotional, but I'm sick of this. I love him and he loves me. We love what I love him. And I just want to be accepted. I'm sick of this parents. I want them to get a day. I said, put your hands Y'all don't tell me. I want them to get out of their old traditional ways. Get out of their old traditional ways. I love him. I love him. One day we get together. Jenny is out there crying, saying that the parents got these old traditional ways. She's upset because she won't be accepted. She's having a ring ceremony where don't look like nobody gonna show up. Here we go, but her and Sumit. Them hands, she said she can't, her visa about to run out, and she just wants to be with him. So she leans into Sumit and she's crying and she's boo-hooing and she's acting like a victim. She is acting as if she didn't hurt this family. Jenny hurt this family. And she doesn't understand that she's pressuring this man by his own admission. He indicated that he feels like he's under pressure to marry her ass. This is not what he wants. He wants a breather like Britney. He wants to just, for her to back up off of this and let him fix his family relationship. And I wonder if this was happening with Jenny's daughters, would she feel the same way? Would she want someone to be pushing her daughters and seemingly manipulating her daughters into getting married? Why is it that Jenny cannot see anything but her own self? She doesn't understand the deceit. She doesn't understand the pain she has inflicted on the parents. The brother said, I'm not helping, and they're never going to accept the age difference. I can't help that I am old. I cannot help that I am old. Yes, I'm 168 with big man hands. But why can't your parents understand that I am 68 with big man hands, but I still want to be with him? These man hands takes care of him. Why can't your parents understand any of that? I don't understand why they got these old rules and old... Jenny. Jenny. You deceived them. And they ain't forgot. And they done borrowed $20,000 from friends, neighborhoods, the church, everybody. So they got to pay all these people back, and they want to be in right standing, and you're an embarrassment to their family. And it just is what it is. Whether you agree with it or not, you all found a backdoor way of getting married. Go ahead on and get married. But trust and believe me, Jenny, you probably will not be happy. And neither will Sumit, especially if he is estranged from his family, because he loves his parents and he wants and needs their approval. And for you to be a woman who claims that you love him, you should want him to have that relationship with his parents while they are still on this earth. I just consider this, and in my opinion, you're extremely self-centered, and you are bossy and controlling and manipulative, and you are seemingly forcing this man to make a decision by your own admission that you don't think he wants to make. All because you don't want to go back to the United States. You don't want that visa to expire. These are my opinions based on what I have seen on this show. Again, if I had to rate this episode, I would rate this episode a D. I felt completely played with. I felt like they was playing with my intelligence and playing, frankly, playing with all of us. Because at the end of the day, we just want it to be over. It's been going on for a long time. We are at the episode 20. So this is the end of my review. Y'all, please let me know down in the comments section what you all thought about this episode. Rate it. Let me know what your rating is for. Like, I seriously want to see y'all ratings for this. And then, you know what? Let me know why you rated it, whatever you rated it. Okay? But anyway, that is the conclusion of this video. Thank you to everybody who super chatted. And thank you to all of the moderators who have been in the room tonight, making sure that the chat stays safe so that everybody can enjoy themselves and have a good time. I love you all so much. Is it both of my moderators? Let me see. Yes, it is. My Mary Grace and my Miss Michelle. Josie will be back soon, y'all. So you all, thank you all so much. Thank you all so much. I love you all to pieces. Good night.